Hi everyone, welcome to QAWithSJ channel. Today let's discuss testing methods. So what are testing methods and why these are required? So basically testing methods are three types like black box testing, white box testing and gray box testing. Okay, so uh, so the black box testing is the black means we can't say anything, right? So that's what it is. So when you don't know the application internal logic and the code and implementation, when you do perform the testing, that is called black box testing. This is in generally our QA people will do that. So the main aim of this black box testing is we'll provide some inputs and we'll get some output and we'll see how the behavior of the application based on the inputs, how it is behaving. That's what we test. That is called black box testing. And the next and the next testing method is white box testing. If you know the internal code structure, logic, and how it was implemented, and when you do the testing, that is called white box testing. Basically, this is done by developers. If you know, right, unit tests you might have had. So whatever the code has been implemented, whether it would be front-end code or back-end logic for the APIs. So for this, developers write some unit test cases. They will mock the actual DB and API calls, and that's how they do write to satisfy whatever the code they have written. That kind of test is called unit tests. Let's suppose there is an if loop. Along with if loop, there is an else loop also, right? So they will write tests to satisfy if loop as well as else loop. That kind of test is called unit test. This is mostly done by the developers. Basically, code review is also part of it. Okay, and gray box testing. So what is gray box testing? When you have some partial knowledge of internal application, know how it works and all the internal logics, how it behaves when you do something else. So that kind of testing we can call it as gray box testing. So maybe database and APIs all will comes into the gray box testing. So this can be done by both QA plus dev. Okay, developers also make sure whatever the data that is putting in the application, whether it is storing in the DB or not, right? So that kind of test from the QA standpoint, QA will do and developers also will do. Okay, for example, coming to black box testing, simple, verifying the functionality of a login page. And when it comes to gray box testing, verify login functionality along with how the data is storing in the DB, and we can call it as integration testing also. Okay, so basically ultimately we do the test, like testing the application and writing the code, whatever the code we have written to satisfy that, we'll write some unit tests so ultimately we do testing. But when you do test like this, there is some name that is called black box. When you do something test like this, that is called white box testing. When you perform testing with some knowledge, that is called gray box testing. To simple make it clear, black box testing is test the application without any knowledge on the code. White box is testing the application with internal code structure, logic and all. And the gray box is with partial knowledge of the application and you do perform the testing, that is called gray box testing. I hope you're clear. Thank you. Subscribe.